You know that feeling? Like you're just drifting? No real direction, just going with the flow. Well, today, we're going to dive into a really powerful idea called the principle of planning. It's a way of looking at life that suggests nothing is random, and maybe, just maybe, we're all on a purposeful journey.
Right? You've got it all mapped out. You have the goal, the dream, the perfect 5-year plan. And then, bam, life just happens. All of a sudden, you're in a scene you never even auditioned for, and you're feeling totally lost, totally anxious. It's that feeling we all get sometimes, like we're completely off script, living a life that isn't even ours.
So where does all that anxiety even come from? I mean, what if it's because we're trying to navigate this huge ocean of life with a map that only shows a tiny little pond? What if the blueprint we're using is just way too small for the life we're actually supposed to be building?
And that really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? When we're looking at everything through our own, really limited lens, every little setback feels like a total failure. Every delay feels like a dead end. It's like we're trying to build this magnificent cathedral, but we're using the blueprints for a garden shed. And then we stand back and wonder why we're so incredibly frustrated.
Okay, but what if there's a bigger picture we just can't see yet? What if there's a master blueprint? And that's what leads us to the big idea for today's explainer. It's a concept that's deeply rooted in a Judeo-Christian worldview, and it's all about a plan of divine purpose.
So, the principle of planning, it basically invites us to look at our lives in a whole new way. It suggests that all that stuff that feels like total chaos, it's actually an intentionally designed process. It's this idea that there's a master architect at work, and we're all part of this incredible grand design, even when we can't possibly see the whole picture from where we're standing. And let me tell you, this idea completely flips the script on what we think of as success. It's not about hitting certain milestones by a certain age anymore, or, collecting a bunch of awards. Nope. True success becomes about something way, way deeper. The whole focus just shifts from getting results to being in alignment. The most important question you can ask yourself becomes, am I moving in the direction I'm meant to go? And all of a sudden, a successful day isn't about landing that promotion. It might just be about showing a little bit of kindness to that really difficult coworker, because maybe that's what the grand design needed to teach you, right in that moment. Okay, but here's where things get a little tricky. Because, let's be honest, we all have our own ideas about how our lives should play out. And a lot of the time, our plans totally clash with the methods of this bigger, divine plan.
And this really shows the fundamental conflict, right? Our natural instincts? We want things fast, we want comfort, we want to be in control. But the divine method? Well, that often involves waiting. It involves humility, and it involves growing through some really tough times. Just think about the story of Joseph. He has this big dream of being a leader, but his path to get there? It goes through betrayal, slavery, and a prison cell. See, the plan wasn't just to make him a leader, it was to forge the character of a leader. And that brings us to, honestly, the most challenging part of this whole journey. It's those moments when it feels like the plan has just completely fallen apart. It's a phase that we could call the death of the vision. You see this same three-step pattern again and again in these stories. Joseph has his dream, but then he ends up in a pit and then a prison. The vision, it looks dead. Abraham is promised he'll be the father of a great nation, but he and his wife are way past the age of having kids. His vision looks dead too. But here's the key. This isn't a mistake. It's not a bug in the system. It's a fundamental, absolutely crucial part of the process. So you gotta ask, what's the point of this painful phase? Well, for one, it purifies our motives. It burns away all that selfish ambition. It also prepares our character for whatever is coming next. And ultimately, it forces us to put our trust in the architect, not just in the blueprint we think we see. It boils down to one tough question. Do you trust the planner, or do you only trust the plan? All right, so this is a really powerful idea, right? But how do we actually apply it in our day-to-day lives? Let's talk about some practical ways you can start living by this blueprint, even when you have no idea what the full picture looks like. I mean, that's the central challenge, isn't it? How in the world do you follow a plan you can't even see? Well, the answer isn't about suddenly having all the answers. It's actually about building new habits and shifting your focus. Okay, so here are 4 really practical ways to start aligning with the plan. First, when you're going through a tough time, try asking, what is this trying to build in me, instead of, why is this happening to me? Second, hold your own plans lightly. Think of them as drafts, open to revision. Third, try to see waiting not as a failure or a delay, but as a crucial time of preparation. And finally, number 4, just focus on taking today's faithful step.
Don't worry so much about the final destination.
And you know what? When we really start to embrace this way of living, our whole definition of success starts to change. We begin to discover this whole new kind of fulfillment, one that comes from being in alignment, and it brings this deep, profound sense of peace with it.
And really, this is the heart of it all. The ultimate goal isn't to design your own life from scratch. It's to align your choices with the life that's already been designed for you. We're not meant to be the sole architects. Our real job is to be faithful collaborators, aligning our small, daily choices with a grand design that's already unfolding all around us.
Think about it. When you lose the job, or the relationship falls apart, or you get that tough diagnosis, the world has a label for that. It calls it a detour, a setback, a failure. It's seen as a wrong turn on the road to happiness.
But you know what? From the perspective of the blueprint, it's not a detour. It's a necessary step. Those moments are essential parts of the path, perfectly placed to shape you for whatever is coming next. They aren't obstacles to the plan, they are the plan.
So I want to leave you with this one question. Think about the most challenging part of your life right now. You know the one, the part that feels like a total dead end. And just ask yourself, what if this isn't the end of the story? What if this trial, is actually the training ground for your greatest purpose? The answer just might surprise you, and honestly, it might just change everything.